Welcome back to PR After Hours. I'm your host, Alex Greenwood, bringing you your weekly cocktail of PR and marketing tips that will help you and your business. Hey, we'll get right to it after this message. Hello, listeners. It's me, Alex, from PR After Hours. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. And I wanted to talk to you just for a moment about the way I get this show right into your earbuds every week. It's because I use Anchor FM. Now, I've told you previously that I've been podcasting since 2006, back when we used stone knives and bear skins and a couple of Dixie cups and string. Anchor FM has really streamlined this and made it simpler for people who don't know the first thing about setting up a podcast or don't have, time to learn all the pro tools and stuff, because it's all right here. First thing it's important to know is it's free. There are certain tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. That's huge. Distribution is a big pain in the butt, to be honest with you, so it's really great Anchor FM can do that for you, and you're not paying hosting fees. That adds up every month. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started, and be sure to join me in the virtual cocktail lounge on PR After Hours. When this whole pandemic started to unfurl, unwind, whatever the word may be, I started thinking, one benefit actually, and I don't mean this as like a super great thing, but one benefit may be that since people are going to be driven online so very much by lockdown and quarantine, and just people perhaps even after lockdown having much less interest in consuming media any other way, I thought everybody would be going to online sources, and that certainly web traffic and podcast downloads, clicks, and all those things would be beefed up. But actually, there has been kind of a dampening effect, believe it or not, in certain ways on that. And I found this article on Reagan, which I'll link in the show notes, about boosting SEO amid COVID-19. And they relate that about 2/3 of marketers anticipate reduced budgets in the coming months, according to a survey by a marketing agency Conductor. High-cost channels such as paid media have fallen out of favor. However, more than 1/3 of marketers plan to invest more in low-cost channels like SEO. So about 2/3 believe marketing will become more important during the outbreak. Even if consumers are not purchasing products now, brands that invest in SEO become well-positioned for recovery. So that said, even though there's been some diminution in downloads of things like podcasts like this one, or I've seen a lot of our content work for my agency evaporate, was a point I was going to get to earlier, was we do a lot of content creation, a lot of content publication for brands, and that business I would say it completely dried up for middle of March all the way till basically now. It's starting to trickle back in. A lot of my content agencies that I work with are finally kind of coming back to life. But I just assumed, frankly, that business would be going through the roof because everybody's stuck at home. But that wasn't quite it. I didn't take into account that brands, companies were going to struggle, and that people were going to be less interested in spending money because, of course, everybody is in survival mode, in bunker mode. As savvy businesses soup up their search engine optimization efforts, communication pros can help drive meaningful business results. And they have 6 tips here. And I'll go through them, and I'll kind of give you my take on each of those. And you can, of course, read the article in the show notes for a deeper dive. I'm not going to read it verbatim, as I never do. I appreciate these articles I read parts of on the show as source material, as a springboard for me to give you my thoughts on it. But I definitely want to make sure that I give credit where credit's due, and that if you want to read more deeply, I'll have that link for you. So they're saying interview employees and customers about their unique experiences with and knowledge of your products, services, and culture. In the coming months, those transcripts and videos will be a rich source of insider info for your blog posts, social content, media releases, and more. And that was actually a quote from Miranda Miller from the Search Engine Journal. Another tip they had, and I think that's fine. I think it's a great idea. You should be doing that anyway. But number 2, review current content. Create a spreadsheet to record different types of content, such as web pages, blog posts, white papers, ebooks, and external mentions of your company and products in blogs and online news sites. Then analyze which pieces can be repurposed, improved with new CTAs, or updated and re-promoted. Always do that. I do that here. I've gone back to blogs I wrote years ago and used them as fodder for episodes of this podcast, for example. I've pulled on those for interviews I've given recently, things like that. So definitely do that. Number 3, add backlinks to brand mentions. Backlinks, not mentions, are the currency of the internet, acting as votes in your favor. And that's from digital marketing expert Neil Patel. Getting mentions but not links means you're only driving a fraction of the traffic or sales you should be. Make sure you do some media monitoring to see how those things are working. Number 4, submit content. It's not out of the question at all. I've kind of preached lately about being very careful about what kind of content you try to pitch to journalists, but that doesn't mean you cannot pitch content. It's just make sure it's not tone-deaf content, right? But though you can add links in that content you pitch, links to your homepage and product pages are most valuable from a marketing standpoint, but you can also add links and other text to link to background info and other educational resources on your company's website. They go on to say, remember to include a link to the corporate homepage in the author's bio. That's important. That's an easy one. First, search for the website writer's guidelines and investigate its policy regarding backlinks before you pitch, though. That's important. Review keywords. Make sure that they're the right ones. Enough said on that. You can use Google's keyword planner to help you into that. There's all kinds of things you can do, and make sure you don't get into keyword stuffing. But they talk more about that here in the article. And number 6, fight to maintain funding. Despite extreme economic difficulty, those who invest in digital marketing now can seize market share. Organic SEO is a zero-sum game. Firms that maintain or increase SEO and PR budgets will be able to replace page 1 positions of those who cut funding. There's a great quote here to kind of end up the article. The fact is we don't know how long this pandemic is going to last, but whether it's a few weeks or a few months, you don't want to lose the goodwill and name rec that you've worked so diligently to build with your clients or the rankings that you've achieved with Google. If you want to stay in the minds of your clients, you need to be proactive during the economic slowdown. I love this. I think this is important. I think it's a key part of your program to maintain positive brand awareness. But just as I said in previous episodes, make sure the content you're putting out there is sensitive, not tone deaf. Make sure that you're not trying to shoehorn yourself and your business and your brand into something that's really not right for you. If you want more details on that kind of content, we've done some great interviews with some experts from other PR agencies as well as some of my own stuff here on the show. Oh, you know what that means? Looks like it's last call here at your virtual lounge for PR news, views, and interviews. Don't forget, you can ask me a question anytime. You can do it through our Twitter account, which is @HoursPR, or even better, you can send me a message vocally. I would love to hear your voice, and I'll answer it on the show. There's a link in the show notes. All you have to do is sign up through Anchor FM. It's free, doesn't take long, and you record your message. I get the message. I will play your audio. Just give me your first name and the city you live in, and then I will answer the question to the best of my ability right here on the show. Don't forget to, if you're enjoying this podcast, you can support it and help increase the frequency and value of the show. Just consider being a sponsor for your brand or your agency or just yourself because you're like, I like this show. Or just drop a few coins in the virtual tip jar. Either way, there's links in the show notes. Please check that out. All of that, of course, being in the show notes where you're listening right now or at prafterhours.com. I see that they're turning up the lights. Last call is over, and I've got to clean up this virtual lounge. And until next time, I'm Alex Greenwood, and you've been listening to PR After Hours on Anchor FM.